live-action remake of Moana is getting closer and closer to being released. But did you know there are many differences between this film and the original 2016 animated version? Tomatoa, the giant crab who loves collecting shiny treasures, stole the spotlight in the original Moana, and the trailer for the new version confirmed that he's back, with a look that closely resembles Tomatoa from the original movie. However, since this remake is live-action, the crab's appearance is much more realistic. He's still animated and still cartoony, but with a texture that makes us believe a creature like this could exist in real life. Also, many people probably didn't notice, but Tomatoa's eyes are much smaller in the adaptation than in the original version. Good thing he doesn't exist in real life. Imagine if your house ended up on top of his shell. Well, at least the crab could give you a ride to school or work. This is just the first of the 13 differences you didn't know between Moana 2016 and Moana 2026.
It's time to have fun with us in another Cinewave.
Heihei. Another beloved character from this franchise is Heihei, and the remake clearly knew everything would be ruined if the rooster wasn't adapted well, which is why his new version still looks very similar to the original. Instead of being a realistic rooster, he keeps the same funny and weird look from the original Heihei, just slightly more realistic, just like Tomatoa. His personality hasn't changed either, since he's still a goofy rooster who keeps throwing himself into the ocean, and Moana will still have to save him every time that happens. But what we can notice is that the live-action version of Moana seems to be a bit more impatient with Heihei, so much so that she grabs him a little angrily at one point. Maui Shark. Everyone was happy to hear that the joke of Maui turning into only half a shark will be repeated in the new version, because it's one of the funniest moments from the 2016 movie. No wonder it was repeated in Moana 2, this time with Maui using the embarrassing transformation on purpose. But there's something interesting to notice. The joke isn't identical in the live action. While Maui turns into a great white shark in 2016, the 2026 movie has him turning into a hammerhead shark. Seeing this joke in live action made a lot of people not even notice that detail. It's not known if there's a technical reason behind this change, which makes us think it might just be a creative decision to show that this movie will be similar to Moana 2016, but not identical. So which one do you prefer? Maui as half a great white shark or half a hammerhead shark? Maui Whale. Another iconic scene brought into the live action trailer is the moment when Maui jumps, transforms into a giant whale, and crashes into the water, creating a massive wave. And once again, this was adapted with a difference. If you remember the original animation well, you know that the demigod transforms into a whale when he stops in front of Taka, a massive creature made of fire and lava. Then, when Maui falls into the water in that form, a huge wave crashes over the creature and puts out her flames. Another time he does this is when he's practicing his shape-shifting abilities, just to splash water on Moana for fun. The transformation we saw in the live-action trailer is likely adapting this moment since Taka isn't present. Even so, the two scenes aren't identical. In the animation, Maui becomes the whale mid-air while already transformed. In the live action, he jumps from a rock, still in human form, before transforming, and even puts his hand under his chin to make it even funnier. If you're also super excited to watch this new version of Moana, comment down below #remake. Loai Portal. We will definitely see Maui and Moana going to Loai, the realm of monsters. After all, Tomatoa is going to appear, and he lives there in the animated movie. It doesn't seem like that's going to change, because the crab appears to be in the same cave from the 2016 version in the scene we see of him in the new trailer. But beyond that, the trailer showed Maui opening the hole that leads to this realm and jumping inside it, just like he does in the animation. There's no way to say it's anything else, because the gate covering that hole is identical to what we see in the original film. But since we're talking about it in this video, it's clear that there is a difference that few people noticed. In the adaptation, the entrance to Loai is surrounded by thick vegetation, which indicates that this portal is located on an island. This is different from the 2016 film, where it was located on top of a very large rock, basically a cliff. It's a minor detail, but still interesting. Tattoos. We also got the chance to see the new versions of Moana's parents. The one we saw the most was Moana's father, Chief Tui, since he appeared up close and in more scenes. And that's exactly why we can notice that this character looks a little different. Don't get us wrong, he has pretty much all the traits of the Chief Tui we know, but there are a few small details that were changed. For example, in the 2016 movie, his tattoos are mostly on his left arm. Meanwhile, in the live-action version, they were somehow moved to his right arm, and no one really knows why this change was made. Was this a change made because of the camera angles the character appears in for most of the remake? Or was it some other reason? Or maybe it was just a random change to test the attention of longtime fans? That question remains. Beard. Another detail related to Chief Tui is, this time, on his face. In the original, the beard on his face is just a small goatee goatee, very different from the live-action version of Chief Tui, who has a full beard instead of a simple goatee. The actor, named John Tui, already had this beard before filming, so it's possible that it was his choice to keep it instead of shaving it down to just a goatee. Thankfully, Chief Tui never had such an iconic look that it couldn't handle this kind of change. Also, the actor's name is John Tui. His name is similar to the character he plays, which is a pretty cool coincidence. Maybe that's a sign from the universe that this casting was a great choice and that he's going to portray Moana's father really well. Muscular Maui. If there's one thing about Moana 2026 that's getting a lot of attention, it's the fact that Dwayne Johnson is playing Maui. He already voiced the demigod in the original version, but now the actor will portray him not only with his voice, but also physically. To do that, Dwayne Johnson is wearing a super realistic prosthetic suit to make him look bigger and to replicate the shapeshifter's iconic tattoos. And he will also wear a wig to hide his well-known shiny bald head. It's great to know they're not removing Maui's hair. I mean, the character was originally going to be bald, as we can see in concept art from the 2016 movie, so it wouldn't have been that absurd if they had gone with that adaptation. Even so, we can all agree that the remake's Maui doesn't look identical to the animated version. Since Dwayne Johnson is known for being very muscular, the demigod is also much more ripped in the live action than he was in the animation, where he was always big and strong but with a wider body. You could even say that the animated Maui is kind of chubby, but in an athletic way, while the live action Maui is completely buffed.
Wanna keep having fun with us? Then subscribe and turn on the notification bell.
Moana's hair. Now, one change that sparked some controversy was Moana's hair, because she has always been known for having curly hair. However, the first teaser for the remake showed that her hair would be much straighter in this version, which disappointed some people. However, the trailer that was released months later showed more scenes of Moana, and we were able to see that her hair is in fact curly, at least in most scenes. Since she'll be going into the water several times throughout the movie, it might be harder to notice that, but many fans still believe that her hair is less curly compared to Moana in the animated films. So what do you think about this change? Or in your opinion, do the hairstyles of both versions of Disney's most incredible navigator look the same? Grandma Tala's flower. Grandma Tala is another character who appeared in the promotional footage, and that was expected since she's the reason Moana sets out on her journey across the ocean. Luckily for us, Tala looks almost identical. It even feels like they took the elderly woman from the animation and somehow turned her into a real person. However, there's a change that's almost impossible to notice unless you have a photographic memory. In the original film, the flower on Grandma Tala's head is usually on the left side of her hair. Meanwhile, in the new version, the flower appears more on the right side. Grandma Tala's farewell. The emotional moment where Tala gets sick and is about to pass away also appears briefly in the trailer, and here we can spot another small change that 99% of people didn't notice. In this version, she is still wearing the flower in her hair, whereas she wasn't wearing it in the original scene. The ocean. It might sound funny to say this, but the ocean is a great character in Moana, and yes, we can consider it a character because it moves on its own and clearly shows personality, even getting annoyed at Heihei for constantly falling into the water. And of course, the ocean appeared in the promotional footage for the 2026 remake, but not in an identical way. Yes, believe it or not, even a body of water gains some differences when adapted into a live-action world, and we just need to look a little closer to notice it. While the floating water shapes in Moana 2016 are usually smooth and carry that magical vibe, the water we see in the 2026 version is much more detailed and fits perfectly with this live-action world. All of this while still conveying that sense that it's something supernatural, even when compared to the other magical elements in the world of Moana. Lighting. The Moana animation is beautiful. Even though the movie came out almost 10 years ago, it still feels modern and looks amazing. Because of that, competing with that level of beauty will be quite a challenge for the remake, especially since it's live action. That's why it's inevitable that the lighting of the scenes will be different. From what we've seen, the scenes will still be very colorful, but not as colorful as they were in the animation, leaning toward a slightly more realistic style.
The next step is right in front of you. 2 fun-filled videos waiting for your click. Thanks, and see you soon.